I know this outfit rather looks different. Of course, I decided to emulate this friend of this style from my Chinese friend who is presently working in the Lekki Deep Seaport. He gave me this concept of this outfit, and of course, this obviously is a clear demonstration of how the Chinese and other Europeans have dominated Lagos. You know, regardless of the fact that we cry of insecurity, do you know that some people have chosen not to leave the country in spite of the challenges? Please don't come to the conclusion too soon. Today I'll be explaining some things you need to know, but before you can know them, I need you to watch this video to the end. Trust me, you don't want to miss any part of this, because I'm going to be revealing one of the biggest mistakes you are making as a Nigerian. I'll see you immediately after this short timeout. Don't go nowhere. One of the biggest mistakes you are making as a Nigerian, whether you are in your own country or you are in diaspora, is to believe a biased perception of your continent. Generally, it is believed that Africa is a dark continent. We have been made to believe that nothing good can come from our continent, and this obviously has generated a lot of sentiment when it comes to investment and of course taking advantage of our own resources. This is not a motivational talk. This is actually based on the perception of this my friend of mine. His name is Win. He's a Chinese that's presently residing in the Ibeju Lekki axis, and of course he works at the Lekki Deep Seaport. When we had an interaction last weekend, there were some things he shared, but before I go into details, I'll be giving you some of the important things on why these guys have refused to leave the country despite of our inflation, insecurity, and of course economic challenges. Do you know that our colonial masters, when I talk about our colonial masters, you know who I'm referring to, they are buying up our lands, they are buying up our mines, they are even buying up all the failed companies, and of course recapitalizing them, and of course creating what we call a Chinese conglomerate. If you are familiar with the Lekki axis, you will know that there is a company called the Jiaofeng Steel Company, and these guys have been there. Information reaching me basically was that before the acquisition of that place, there used to be an indigenous company that occupied that area, and today they are under the control of the Chinese. Of course, you and I will agree with us that there is no nation on this earth that can survive without either foreign and direct investment. However, you need to understand that Nigeria, just like every other continent in the world or any other countries of the world, have its own challenges. I'm not here to deny the fact that insecurity is a major obstacle. I'm not here to deny the fact that inflation has reduced our currency. I'm not here to deny the fact that we have several challenges ranging from poverty and every other thing. Do you know that in spite of all these challenges, in spite of all these difficulties, some people have chosen not to leave? If Nigeria is as bad as it is portrayed, and I believe basically that the expatriates in the Dangote refinery should have been called by now. The Chinese, the Lebanese, and other Europeans and Asians that are working in the Lekki Deep Seaport should have left the country by now. So what exactly am I trying to say? Now, you need to understand that Africa is the future. Africa is the best place to evolve, and of course, the best place to invest. I'm not here to preach the gospel of real estate or any other thing you might have talked about, but I'm going to share a little story of a friend of mine who recently closed a 600 acres of land in a place called Oye in Ekiti. According to him, he stated the details of the transaction, and one of the major investors of that land is a Chinese. And from information we got to find out that the intention of them buying up 600 acres of land is to establish one of the biggest cocoa farm in Nigeria. Now, Since you have decided that nothing good is going to come from Africa, since you have this colonial mindset that Africa is a dark continent, but do you know that those people that are giving you or portraying that mindset or that reality are taking advantage of your scarce resources, or they are taking advantage of your untapped resources? The reality basically is that we need to know and understand why Africa is a place where Europeans and other countries come to look for scarce resources. There's something I'll be sharing very, very quickly, and that is based on one important information. When you look at how tech has evolved, when you look at oil and gas in Africa, you would understand basically that the foundation of development is based on its resources. And this is why it is very, very important for you to understand the trends of investment as well as the opportunities. I'm not saying you should be at loggerheads with the Europeans. I'm not saying that you should fight them. I'm just saying that take a second guess, do your own personal study, and understand why these people are buying up our lands, why they are buying up our companies, why they are buying up our oil rigs, our oil wells, why they are buying up the all those fake field companies that we have. You need to understand that as a diasporan, do not believe the mindset that Africa has nothing to offer. I'm not here to admit the fact, or I'm not here to deny the fact that Africa has its own challenges. But you see, your leaders, even the likes of Obasanjo, the likes of Dangote, the likes of Otedola, they are buying up lands in hundreds of acres in the north. They are buying it somewhere around the east. Some are even buying it in the southwest and other regions. They are setting up agricultural farm, and these guys are making billions of dollars from agro real estate. Now, in conclusion, I watched an interview recently where a real estate developer gave a portfolio of an investment that is being owned by your celebrity. One of the things the man said basically is that our popular music icon, Mr. Easy, is one of the richest young entrepreneurs, and one of his wealth came majorly from owning shoplets, not only in Nigeria but across Africa. The same thing is also applicable to Davido. Of course, we all know that OBO is one of the major investor of real estate. Looking at our Instagram celebrities, these guys are taking advantages of that. You know, the funny thing is that for you to have your own share and make enormous return on investment in Africa, you don't need to like Africa. You don't even need to like the location. You see, in as much as fact that the place has a potential, if your celebrities are making money from Africa, then this is why you need to give it the second thought that Africa is not as dark, Africa is not as backward, Africa is not as dangerous as it has been portrayed. This obviously is an eye-opener video. It is not a real estate campaign, but it is just a wake-up call to a diasporan who has been abroad, who is looking forward for an alternative source of investment. Africa still has it. Lagos still has it. Other parts of Nigeria still have it. Do not be blinded by the challenges. Open your eyes to the endless opportunities that you can get from agro real estate, commercial real estate, residential real estate, and of course, hospitality real estate. Trust me, this obviously will become an eye opener, and you will look at this video and be thankful that you listened to me. For any further information and inquiries or for further clarification, you are free to send us a DM. And of course, I can't wait to see you in my next video. Thank you very much. See you in my next video. Bye for now.
Listen to me, Nigeria is still land of promise, and I am ready to jackpot. I am not kidding. But if you are abroad, you need to hear this. I just came back from Nigeria, and I've decided that this Nigeria situation, the glass is half full, not half empty. See, Chinese investors are already deep in the villages, so buying land, buying palm plantations, starting businesses, and we are still playing. One day, your father's house might be sold to Mr. Chang while you are here sipping Starbucks. Nigeria still has gold. And the people who see it first will win. So stop giving up. Let us build. We can build this country.